Oh, you're an ugly son of a bitch, aren't ya? Those were the first words that my mentor told my brother. And at the time, I thought it was really funny. And then later on, I realized that my mentor was actually the ugly person. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you the story about how that whole relationship fell apart in today's video. So when I first started my business, I would watch these YouTube videos, and people would tell you that you need to find a mentor to teach you some type of skill or whatever. You've heard that all the time, I'm sure. So I thought, that's what I need. I need a mentor. I need someone who can teach me how to clean things. So I called every cleaning company in my city, and everybody told me no. And a lot of people were like, why would I want to be your mentor and teach you to be competing with me? That's just stupid. So I persisted, and I kept calling. And I found an ad online for a janitorial position for some cleaning company. So I called him up, and I let the office manager know, hey, I really want to get into the cleaning industry. I'm willing to do whatever you want me to do. I'll work any hours. I'll do any job. I'll never complain. And I'm going to be quick to learn because I want to run a cleaning company someday. And I'm not going to take advantage of this relationship because this is going to be a long-term endeavor for me. And this is something that I'm going to be doing for a very long time. And I want to make a good reputation in the community. So I'm going to be a very trustworthy, good employee if you want to hire me. And she immediately said, okay, cool, let me put you in contact with the owner and we'll see what he says. So I go in for my interview and I meet with the owner and I tell him the exact same thing. And he's like, yeah, okay, we'll give you a shot. He's like, that sounds really good. I'll put you on the team with this guy, Russell. So I'm like, holy crap. I just took my first step in owning my own small cleaning company because now I'm going to be working for this guy who is an expert. And his business spanned all the way from Seattle down into Oregon and Portland, down to California, and all the way over to Texas. And he started his cleaning company when he was 25 years old, which was interesting because I reached out to him to work for him when I was 25 years old. So he kind of like connected with me as this younger version of himself. And now here he is, 75 years old. He's built up this big business and he's willing to teach me sort of how he did it. So I go out and I start my first restaurant deep cleaning job. And it was for this big company called McCormick and Schmitz. If you want, you can go ahead and look them up. But they're like this big chain restaurant. I don't know if they're in other states, but they're pretty, they're a nice restaurant for the Portland area, I guess. So I started dusting all their wood and basically putting this oil on the wood to bring out the shine and the luster of it. And that was my first day. And as time went on, I got to do every single cleaning task that I do right now currently. I started cleaning carpets, did a couple floor jobs where we stripped and waxed floors, did the nightly cleaning at some very big, popular restaurants in the city. And I really got a foundation of what it looked like to provide the service that a cleaning company provides. And from watching videos online, listening to people like Tony Robbins and reading books like Think and Grow Rich, I believed in this idea that if you have good positivity, if you're a very positive person and you believe in yourself, things are going to go good for you. And you can manifest your destiny if you're just a positive, hardworking person. And so I thought, if you just do the right things are going to happen to you and you're going to move forward in life. And that's the secret to getting ahead. So I would show up to work every day full of energy, full of excitement, ready to learn, ready to work. And one day this guy, his name was Victor, that's my mentor's name. Victor asks me, hey, I just signed a new deal with this Irish pub downtown Vancouver. Are you interested in subcontracting it through your business? And I'm like, wow, this is like the next step for me in my company. I'm going to get my own little customer that I get to do. I'm not going to be a W-2 employee anymore, but I'm going to be a subcontractor. And that contract's basically going to be mine. And I can go in there and treat that customer like they're mine. So I'm excited. I'm like, yeah, man, that'd be great. Let's do it. So I start showing up to this pub every night, 7 nights a week. And this place was really dirty. I remember I moved a garbage can once and a huge rat came running out. And I was like shocked, like, oh my God, there's rats in this restaurant. And they're big, mean looking rats. They're not just like tiny little mice. And so I learned a lot at this restaurant. I would go there every single day, and we would clean the entire kitchen. We'd clean the entire front of house, clean the bathrooms, put in a lot of work. And I was having a good time because I'm learning and I'm using my tools and experience to provide a real service to real customers. And one day he invites me to go to Home Depot with him. He needed to buy a new ladder. And so we pick out the ladder and we go to the checkout. And there's this little girl there, probably like 17, 18. And she's like, hi, how are you? And he looks her dead in the eyes. He's like, none of your fucking business. And I busted up laughing. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe that you just did that. Like, who says that kind of thing? This guy just did not care. And I thought it was funny because, like, I'm sort of on his team, right? And he's taking me under his wing. And so if he's going to be rude to other people or say stupid stuff, it's kind of a funny thing. It's not directed at me, and he doesn't really mean anything by it. So whatever. I just thought that weird demeanor that he had wasn't a big deal, and it was just kind of joking around. And I didn't understand the level of disrespect that he had for other people. Anyway, eventually he met my brother, and then that's when he called him ugly. And there was like this pattern, and he would get complaints, and I'd be in the office, and someone would complain from up in Seattle in a big job that we went and did. I remember very specifically, we went and cleaned out this nightclub, and it was a horrendous job. And when we got done, it didn't really turn out that well because this place basically just needed to be totally gutted and remodeled, not cleaned. But anyway, the lady didn't want to pay him. And I remember Victor yelling and screaming at her, putting her down, calling her all kinds of names, and demanding payment. And I'm this young business guy, and I don't really know a whole lot about like values and principles and the right way to treat people in the business world. It's something that I'd never witnessed before, but I didn't know how messed up that was to do that at the time. And so she paid him, and I was like, well, maybe that's what you do to collect on bills. I don't know. So when I saw the manager, I let them know, hey, we got this little complaint about the garbage can yesterday. If you want, I'm actually subcontracting this from Victor and his company, but I own my own company, and here's my business card. If you ever need anything at all, please just reach out to me and I'll take care of you guys. I just want to do the right thing. I don't want to bother Victor because he's got this huge company all the way from Seattle down to Texas. He doesn't need to hear about me forgetting to pull out a garbage can and sweep behind there. And it'd be better for everybody if you just reach out to me. And I was really trying to be honest and genuine and hardworking and excited to do a good job. So my intentions were just to do a better job for the customer and to make their experience the best it could be. So I forget about this, right? I gave them a stack of my cards, and I'm like, here, if you want to hand these out to some other of your staff, some other managers, your bar manager, the general manager, whatever, here's just a stack of my cards so that you guys know how to email me directly or text me if you want to. A couple of days go by. I don't think anything of it, right? And Victor calls me, get into my office right now. I'm like, okay. So I drop everything and I go over to his office because that's how it was. I was working for him. I would do anything for him. So because he's giving me such a big opportunity, I just would clear my schedule and go right over there and see what he needed. As soon as I walked in the door, he grabbed this stack of cards off of his desk. And he's like, I was over at this pub. I was picking up the paycheck and I saw your stack of business cards on his desk, and he just throws them at me. And he's like, this is such bullshit. I can't believe you would stab me in the back. And I'm like, dude, Victor, man, chill out. Let's talk about this. No, this is it. We're done. I trusted you. And I'm like, dude, let's talk about this. It's a total misunderstanding, man. I would never try to do anything that would hurt your business. So let's talk about this. No, you're trying to steal my accounts. You don't know what this is going to do. And I'm like, can we talk about this? No, get out. So I couldn't even talk to him. I couldn't even reason with him. We couldn't even have a conversation. I could not reel him in. He was just yelling and screaming and told me to get out of his office. So here I am every night. I'm watching videos by Tony Robbins about how you just need to be positive and have a good attitude or whatever he's talking about. And I'm reading books like How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I'm finding out my good attitude and my skill set for winning friends and influencing people has no bearing over this other person who has no idea that these principles exist or even values them at all. And growing up, when I was younger and I didn't know anything about business and I hadn't accomplished a whole lot, I thought everyone else knew this stuff. I thought that the really successful people, the people that own big businesses, the people like him that would own a company from Seattle down to Texas, I thought they understood this stuff. And so that's why I wanted to learn it, so I could be in their world. But the fact is, that's not true. Some people get to their position because they're just assholes and they bulldoze other people over. They cut people down, or they just take power, or whatever it is. And that was a real shock to realize, even if you think that you're doing all the right things and you're trying to be a good person, you're trying to be reasonable, the other people out there in the world that you deal with in business, they're not going to be that way. And what ended up happening was I quit doing that job at that Irish pub, and he never paid me. He never paid me. I ended up working for an entire month at that place. And then he's like, okay, turn in your invoice at the end of the month, and then I have 30 days to pay you. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I worked the whole month, turn in my invoice. Now I have to wait 30 days to get paid. So I work a whole nother month. I turn in my next invoice before I even get the first one, before I get the first payment back. Now I'm 2 months into this thing. And guess what? He never paid the effing bill. And I had no recourse. I had no money. I could not go sue him. I didn't know anything about labor laws and the Bureau of Labor and Industries. I didn't know that I had any rights because I was just a kid. I didn't know these things. So this mentor, who I really respected, who everyone on the internet told me, go out and find yourself a mentor. Go out and be a positive person. Manifest your destiny. Turned out to be bullshit in this situation. And that was a weird thing to realize, that my ideas in my mind and the ideas that I got from the internet actually didn't line up in real life, and that I could still be hurt by someone I trusted, even though I thought I was doing all the right things. And that's been my experience in business from the beginning. I quit my day job to go work for this mentor. I needed that money. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I extended out for 2 or 3 months without getting paid, and then he totally robs me and all that labor that I gave him. And I didn't know what to do. I had no money. I'm behind on my rent. My power's getting shut off. I'm letting my wife down. She's counting on me to bring the money in. We're 1,000 miles away from home, so I can't really call and depend on anybody. And plus, I want to be an independent, self-sufficient man. So I didn't want to rely on anyone. But here I am, this mentor who I trusted completely screwed me. And that's been the story the entire time in my business, where I think I'm doing something the right way. I'm going above and beyond. I'm giving people more value than I'm asking for. I'm trying to be a reasonable person, have good conversations, and I would get screwed. And I got so many examples of this, and I'll talk about them on this channel as time goes on. But here's what I realized. Even though you do the right thing, and even though you get taken advantage of, that doesn't mean that you should stop doing the right thing. Like, I could sink to his level and I could start screwing people over like he screwed me over. I could go get contracts, tell people to go do them, and then never pay them, and then just hire someone else. But I don't think that that's an effective way to build a business and to build your life, because you just get totally wiped out. If you have the wrong principles, it's just going to take one crazy lunatic to come to your house and end it, okay? All it's going to take is one employee to sue you, and you lose everything. You put so much risk on yourself when you do the wrong thing every time over a long period of time. That's what I believe. And the way that you build the snowball and you keep being successful is by having right principles. So I didn't know this stuff. I didn't even know where to look for this stuff. So I started reading these old books. And one book that I read was the autobiography of Ben Franklin. And I was thinking, well, this old guy, he contributed kind of a lot to America. And he built up this prosperity, and we know his name today, and he was a wealthy guy in his day. Like, maybe he knows some things. So I read this book. And one of the things that he said was the way to build wealth is a simple formula. It's industry plus frugality will equal wealth. And so I developed that mindset of being industrious, not wasting any time, working really hard, working every day, working long hours, doing as much as I possibly could do and get as much as I possibly can get done every single day. I didn't put the emphasis on earning a ton of money. I didn't put the emphasis on just building a big business. I didn't just put the emphasis on all these superficial things that hard work can give you. I put the emphasis on the hard work itself. And I let that become part of who I am. I want to be an industrious, hardworking individual because I know I can't focus directly on the money. If I focus directly on the money, which is ultimately what I want to get, I might not ever get it, or I might lose it, and that'll be really depressing. And I might not be able to keep it once I do have it. You know, I might spend it, and then it's like, well, now I don't have it. What was all that hard work for anyway? But if I take pride in hard work, I can work hard irregardless if I'm making a lot of money or I'm not making any money. During the pandemic, I made myself busy. I reached out to my friends who are small business owners, and I worked for them for free. Because I prioritize and I respect what Ben Franklin said about industry and just becoming a hardworking individual. So even though I got ripped off by this mentor, that still doesn't discourage me from being a hardworking person. I just have to, you know, start over, pick up the pieces, and then find work somewhere else and work really hard going forward. And then the other thing is frugality, not spending very much money and trying to be very prudent with my expenses. And by keeping my expenses low and valuing saving money and not spending money unless I absolutely have to, combining that with all the money I'm making through this hard work, even though I get screwed over, I'll make a little bit of progress, and then boom, someone busts the windows out of my car and I lose $400. And that sucks, but I don't value the money, I value the hard work. So I start working again and again and again. All of a sudden I get sued from a labor dispute. Boom, $10,000 gone. Okay, well, I didn't value the money, I valued the hard work, and I valued the savings. So I get back to work and I keep working hard, and eventually I pay that off and I move past that and I build up more and I get a bigger customer, more customers come along. I remember one time I lost a customer for $4,500 a month. I'll talk about that in another video. When that guy called me up and said that he's going to cancel that account, that sucked. It's $4,500 gone. But I didn't care about the money. I cared about doing hard work. So when that work dried up and I could no longer work with him, I just got back to work. And those are the things that kept things moving forward. Those are the things that I prioritized. And I realized, even though I try frequently, as hard as I can, to do the right thing, which I don't always do, believe me, I've definitely lost my temper and I've made so many mistakes. So I'm not trying to say I'm this virtuous guy and need to do everything I do. But I'm just saying, by valuing the right things and constantly trying to do the right thing, even though I take those big hits and I lose my mentor, or I lose an employee, or I lose an account, if I value the work itself, my business seems to keep growing and keep getting better and bigger. So even though I lost a couple $1,000s in that situation from him, I got back to work. I didn't give up on my dream of owning a business, and I found people way better than him to look up to. I learned a lot more in different places, and the money that I lost from him, which I never really recouped, he told me, by the way, he's like, dude, why don't you come by my office on Wednesday and I'll have the money ready for you. So I'm like, okay, cool. I pop into his office. Guess what? Gone. Gone. He moved overnight. All of his crap, all of his office stuff, all the paintings on the walls, the secretary, the phones, the computers, everything gone. It was a vacant building. So that's the kind of shit that he would do. And so that's why I got screwed. I didn't know how to pursue this. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, even though you do the right things and you believe that life's going to be good if you do things a certain way, don't be shocked when bad things happen. Don't give up on doing the right thing when bad things happen. Most of the time in business, it's been dealing with disappointments and setbacks and frustrations and not getting ahead and falling behind and grueling things that are just gut-wrenching, okay? Most of business has been actually probably a negative, hard experience. It's been immensely rewarding, and I'm very glad that I did it, and I take a lot of pride that I got as far as I have so far. But it hasn't been all Ferraris and jets and happiness and fulfillment and prosperity and just abundance, okay? It's been repeatedly getting my ass kicked, but sticking to principles that work over time. So I don't know if that's interesting to you guys. Thank you for watching. I'd like to get to 10,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, if you could hit the subscribe button, it would mean a lot to me. And I hope to share more of these crazy stories from my business. Maybe they'll help you out. Maybe you can learn something. Maybe you can teach me something. I don't know. But if you could hit that button, then it would mean a lot to me to see that number continually going up. So if you want to do what you want, when you want, how you want, for who you want, and how much you want, subscribe to my channel. See you guys next time.